And we're live. Hey, everybody, it's Mike, and you're watching Real Black. We're just hanging out. I'm going to clean the screen off with my thumb. Of course, that makes it dirtier, right? We got some room. I see Chris Dragnet is here. Who else is in the building? I'm wearing the Riverbend t shirt. For those who don't know, Riverbend is a movie that Real Black is in the process of restoring. So I'm decked out. We got 3 people in the room. Say hi, everybody. Molly's here. Come here. Come here, Molly. See, there's Molly. And I just wanted to hang out. 32 people are here because I know it's the night before the election. Tomorrow is a new day, right? The whole world is watching, as they say. The whole world is watching. I picked this up in New Jersey. So everybody's got their eyes on tomorrow. It'll soon be November 5th. I don't know if you voted yet. I'm going to go in line. I'm going to pull the ballot. Molly's like, it doesn't really matter now, does it? It kind of does. My take on it, and I'll say it over and over as we get more people in the room, is half the country, it's so divided. Half the people are going to be really happy and half the people are going to be very, very upset. Doesn't matter who wins. Nakia Dillard's in the building. A lot of Amira is in the building. Mike is in the building. Of course, Chris Dragnet, our mod squad, is here. Nakia, I love the thumbnail. Even if it doesn't really look like you, I love the thumbnail. FU2. You got to have a better way of saying it. FU2 is in the building. I see a lot of people. It's been a while since we've gone live. And I'm just going to hang out. So if you're watching this now on the replay, it could be very boring. These live streams are really for me and the people watching live. But this one's for the record. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, but I think it is very important that you cast a vote in this election if you're able to. So let's see what's going on in the chat. People have got stuff to say here. Kamala brought out the female rapper. She sure did. Twerking and all that. Warrior President Donald Trump. Okay. FU2. Kamala said she cleaned greens in the tub. Okay. That's a little snarky. I'm sure she might have, I'm sure she might have. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm just going through the chat. Vote no to prop number 1 in New York. Okay. Tomorrow will be exciting. Nick is in the building. Okay. So we're entertaining the chat. Okay. So lots been going on since we last did one of these. The World Series happened. The Phillies didn't make it past. They won the National League pennant, but they didn't advance into the World Series. The Mets went in to the playoffs and lost to the Dodgers. The Dodgers went in and won it all. We lost a giant. And when I say giant, I say one of the best, if not the best. Where's my copy of Thriller? Go grab it. Where's my copy of Back on the Block? Go grab it, Molly. Quincy Jones passed away on the 3rd, yesterday, Sunday. So we lost a giant. And then, of course, the election. So whatever we want to talk about, I'm here to entertain the chat. Let's see what's going on. A lot of people are not feeling Harris for some reason. Okay. So Dr. Turner, well, I mean, we can, let me, before we get too far into it, let me figure out how to bring people in. Share screen. I don't want to share screen. Invite. Okay, so if you're of sound mind, come on and join the fun. StreamYard, and there's a link. What you need to do if you want to join the live chat, share your opinion on camera or via voice. Try not to troll us tonight. You just copy and paste that into your browser, have your phone ready. We'll have a conversation. Um, I'm indigenous. Hey, Manitoba, Winnipeg. So, yeah, I mean, who are you for? What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Is it if Trump wins? Is it going to be tyranny? If Trump loses and Kamala wins, will it be total anarchy on the streets? Will it be a replay of January 6th? That's the fear that we have. Will there be uh, we'll have a brand new president in January? Will there be a what do they say? A civil exchange of power, or will this whole country go crazy? That's the question. All right, no, the world will be at peace. Okay, well, it depends on. Okay, all right, I'm with you on that. I think I'll get to Chris's comment in a second. I think a lot of people are afraid. Um, I remember when Trump was first running for election, and I don't know if I have that video on here. And Baba Dick was talking. He said the lesser of two evils is still evil. I always remember that. And he said the universal God is always in charge, right? So fear not of man. Let me see. I don't know if either platform has really spoken to um, the needs of Black people specifically. And I do agree with people that feel that the Democratic Party takes our vote for granted. But I think it's super. But what is the other party offering? That's always up for debate, right? Um, got a lot of Trump supporters here tonight. Let's see. I'm for Trump. However, people are voting for Kamala based on her skin tone and being a woman and washing greens in a bathtub. Kamala's policies are ridiculous. Well, they're continuing to move in the direction that Biden is going in. I don't think her policies are ridiculous. I think some of the things that have been said. This is my opinion, Dr. Turner. I'm having a conversation with you. I think that some of the advertising and the propaganda on both sides has been really interesting. And if anything, I would say Kamala has substance in her advertising and her campaigns, and a lot of the things that the Trump campaign has been used against her, things that she said in the past, her record, so on and so forth. Let's see. F you. Comatose. I'm not doing anything specifically for Black people. Well, that's just it, right? But again, what's the lesser of two evils, right? Let me move this light a little bit so it's not so crazy. What's the lesser of two evils? I mean, Trump, on the other hand, all right, so if Kamala says, I'm not doing anything specifically for Black people, Trump has said he's going to deport people, he's going to wreak vengeance on the people that went against him. He is going to let Putin continue his reign over Palestine. I mean, if you take everything that Trump says at his words, I think there's every reason to be afraid. How can I like Harris? President Trump, he will do fine. He did a great deal for Blacks more than anyone else. I don't know. I mean, he's also very racist, in my opinion. Things that he says and does, not just about Black Americans, but anybody that doesn't look like him, is very, very. It's very challenging. It's very challenging for me to accept that type of behavior from the leader of the free world. But um, with that being said, most important, donations are accepted. PayPal, Patreon. You can go on the merch. We don't have this is a one of one right now, but it'll be going into the merch store later in early part of next year, so you can help support the restoration of Riverbend. Let's see what's going on here. Tell me why Trump. There you go. Tell me why Trump. How does Trump deporting people hurt Black Americans? Um, okay. He was never racist. Okay, well, if you say so, man. I don't know. Um, it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck. I mean, he surrounds himself with racists. That's for sure. That's a certainty. He surrounds himself with racists. Even if you don't believe Trump himself is racist, he surrounds himself with enough racist people for me to think that he leans that way. But I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I'm really here to take the temperature of the room. So let's keep moving through the chat. Kamala did present a package for Black men, whether you believe it or not. In the end, time is not in the end. Times is up to y'all. Yep, they're all racist. Okay. Fine. Charlottesville. Go look at what he said about Charlottesville. There was wrong on either side. The Central Park Five. He was racist. He's never apologized to the exonerated five. That's a racist move. You know, I don't know. I mean, I feel like people have their own blinders on. I don't want to get into debate or discussion. I know who I'll be voting for and why. And it's not just the optics. And it's not out of fear. Um, but I can't tell you who to vote for. All I can do is say it's your civic duty to do so. What did Trump do for blacks while he was president? That's a good question. I'm a veteran. Also, Trump supports us as veterans. Kamala's in politics over 30 years and did not have anything but implement the three strikes law in California. Well, that's a legitimate reason to vote the way that you want to vote. Going back, where's the thing? He was never a racist. Where's the other thing? I'm trying to find Trump is a lesser. I'm trying to find when else was he racist. I can't find it. But when there was the yeah, look, I'm not here to defend anybody, but I remember when Trump was president and we had that big hurricane in Puerto Rico. He was very slow and slow to respond. He called a lot of countries with Hispanics, crap hole countries. I don't know. Just we'll see what happens tomorrow. Kishon, she ain't for us. All right. Well, we got 74 people in the room, and it seems like most of the people who are talking. If this is a rap concert, we said all the ladies say "ow," all the brothers say "ho." Seems like a lot of people are going for Trump in this room, and that scares me, quite frankly. But God is in charge of putting down when it comes against Israel. Okay. Well, let's see. Tell me why Kamala without telling me about Trump. Interesting. Okay. Well, somebody else can take that. I think Kamala is very qualified to run this country. I think it's time. Men have run it into the ground. I think it's time to give a woman an opportunity. If you go back to what I said when she first became candidate, I said, I don't know if this country's ready for a black female to run it. So I look with great skepticism and concern that she may not pull enough of the electoral college to win the election. But I think she's the better candidate by far. Even if she was just running against herself, she's younger, she's sharp, she has the experience. Oh my God. Okay. All right, hang on. Well, Chris, all right, so the question is how do you defend Kamala's stance without saying she's the lesser of two evils, that Trump, without bringing up Trump's record, all that other stuff? I think it's part and parcel of the same. Kamala's racist with the three strikes law in California. There's three strikes laws all over the country, but um, he dated a black woman, black sports musicals. Buzz, I don't know. That's pandering. All right, we're not going to get anywhere with this. Um, we're not going to get anywhere with this conversation. I can tell. So the question becomes, tomorrow, is it a new day? What's at stake? Yeah, there are a lot of trolls here. That's why I'm stopping. I'm not going to defend Kamala anymore, and I'm not going to go share my feelings about 45 at this point until we get some better conversation going. But I appreciate everybody who is taking the time to sit with me, and Molly here. Molly's knocked out. Now, hang on, I got to show you this. She's knocked out. She's like, I could care less. Give me some treats. You want some treats? She's knocked out. She's like, tomorrow is Tuesday. I don't care about this election. Right. And then there's other people to vote for. All right. So, what's at stake is the Supreme Court. I mean, if you say you're supportive of women's reproductive rights, that's important. He's definitely going out against Roe versus Wade. The people he's put in the Supreme Court are definitely super pro religious right conservatives. They're trying to turn the clock back on a lot of advances. And if you say women's rights are happening now, then rights against civil rights are also at risk. They're not the Dr. Cornel West. Okay. I don't know why it scares you. Vote for your best interest, and I will vote for mine. That's exactly what I'm saying. FBA is getting off the Democratic plantation. Damon, hey, thanks for tuning in. Let me address this. Listen, I run this channel, right? So I'm very aware about FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and the concerns. We should be getting something for our vote. And we should not always be giving away our vote just to Democrats. I agree. But, I get it. You want to vote for her because she's a woman. I want change. But, look, you vote for who you want to vote for. Again, it's not that important. Time will tell who was right, who was wrong, if there is such a thing. I don't think that it's going to be easy for any of us the next 4 years. I'm talking about the citizens of the United States, citizens of the world. I think it's going to be a lot of tension and conflict. We've seen a lot of this stuff happen around race as a result of the kind of fires that get stoked around this conversation. So, um, let's see. Kamala Harris' resume is amazing. She's so accomplished: college, law school, prosecutor, DA, senator, vice president. What else do you want? Said the same thing about Hillary, and you see what happened. So I'm not holding my breath either way. Um, Baba Dick once again said, God's in control. So if you're a spiritual person, if you believe that things are go the way they're supposed to, then you should be accepting of whatever the outcome of tomorrow is. But again, it's really up to us to vote and take care of that stuff. So at the end of the day, they're both puppets, a group of wealthy individuals, always pulling their strings. No debate against that. Pardon me. Let's see what else is here. It's a sign of how warm-brained America has become, that this amazing person with this amazing resume is dealing with a dark MAGA hatred. I couldn't say it any better. I couldn't say it. I mean, personally, it shouldn't even be close, in my opinion. But here we are, the day before, and there's still a lot of undecideds in major swing states. And the here where I'm in Philadelphia, they're really trying to get those Pennsylvania votes to swing in each other's favor. Let's see. So this is for the record. Whatever you're saying now, we can replay 6 months from now and see if we were correct or incorrect. Trump for the win. He's the best candidate because he's best for American interests and the American economy. We're in a global economy now. I hope people are aware of that. These tariffs are not something that's good for the bottom line American people's pocketbooks. He's okay. Who else is here? Marquise. Hey, we got Spider-Man 7285 on. Are you gonna bring your camera on? All right, I'm gonna take a chance here. You ready? Spider-Man is here. Here he comes. Spider-Man. Hey, Spider-Man.
Yo, Mike, long time watcher. I don't comment a lot, but I've seen it all with you. I used to watch all the movies and stuff you have posted. I saw when they knocked you down after you got 1 million people the whole night. So
Yeah. It's been quite a journey. I'm glad you're sticking around. The best is yet to come, as they say. But I mean, what are we talking about? We can talk about anything you want. We don't have to stick
I
to
mean,
select.
I mean, I'm just pointing out. I'm not. There's a lot of people in the chat that are saying Trump this and Kamala that, whatever. You're not gonna vote for You're not voting for Donald Trump. If you vote for the president and you vote for Donald Trump, you're gonna get Vance. So consider if you like Vance or not, or if you agree with his positions, because Trump is 80 something years old and he won't be making the decisions just like he wasn't last time his cabinet was. And the people that put Vance up are the same people that bankrolled Trump's first campaign, which would be like Peter Thiel and those types of people, which are, so that's all I'm saying. I'm not really
It makes sense. I mean, not everybody is looking at the who the vice president is and who's in charge of that, But then
you usually, I mean, generally in the past, it shows it doesn't matter. I mean, our country, the vice president doesn't have much executive power, but that's not going to be the case with somebody who's going to, they're not going to let him have Alzheimer like Reagan did and sit there in the White House. They'll do the 25th on them themselves without the Democrats' help.
Right. Yeah. Well,
he tried to hang the last, or he didn't try to hang himself, but he wanted to to throw the last vice president to the people. So if you don't think that they're setting him up without a contingency plan for some more stuff like that, then
Well, here's the question, Spider-Man. So, I mean, Trump goes on and on and on and on during his rallies, right? And a lot of the stuff he says, a lot of his supporters, oh, he's just joking. He doesn't mean that when he says he's going to do this, that, and the third. They pick one or two interests. Mostly it's the economy and immigration. That's what Trump's platform really is, and they ignore the rest of it. I mean, should we take him at his word, the way the New York Times says?
Well, when the shopkeeper who's a Klansman behind the scenes tells a joke, is it just a joke, or where do you think it came from? What are we talking about here? I mean, who are you talking about here? Who, like you said, the people that, let's say 100% of the way he stays in the White House, the people around him are not the type of people that, when we're talking about the lesser of two evils, I don't think people are, or who's evil and who's not evil, I don't think they take his administration into account. There's a gentleman claiming to be a Native American in here. Just take a look at what his Department of Interior did last time. They started selling off the public land, and they tried to sell off reservation land. They try to run all the pipelines under the or further running the pipelines, but that's not something. The pipeline thing's not exclusive to a Republican or a Donald Trump, but Donald Trump elevated that. Now you could say, okay, if you think that Democrats are cheap with representation, and the Department of Interior person was Deb Haaland, who's a Native American woman that Biden put in place, but you still say, okay, that's all cheap representation. Well, she was undoing what was being done by the last Department of Interior. So if you're just looking at, your land as a citizen, the people who vote for this is our shit. Excuse my French. You got one person selling your land off, and you got another person trying to preserve what's yours.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, by my recollection, that whole thing with the Dakota pipeline, is that what we're talking about?
You can go from the Dakota pipeline, but that was under the Obama administration, and
yeah,
pipelines have been going
Obama,
under.
That's what I was gonna
yeah,
say,
you can't. They do easements, and you can't stop progress. And what's the other one where they can just take your land? Anyways,
eminent domains.
Eminent domain. Thank you. I mean, all that stuff's been going on for a very long time. The whole interstate system running through all the black neighborhoods is definitely a evidence of that. So it's not like this is an exclusive thing. All I'm saying is, for what we have left that's ours, would you rather him sell it off to a one of his cronies, or a business partner, or somebody that is a recognized supporter of him, so they can turn around and charge you whatever they're going to charge you in the land over however many 100 years? So
yeah, everything's being privatized. Water will be next.
I mean, that's, you know what I'm saying? There's states all over this country right now where they sell water to other countries. And some of them are in a drought. So
yeah,
I'm not telling people which people to vote for or not to vote for, but when you see the disingenuous people talk about, like, he's good for black people, this is an 80-some-year-old guy that's not going to be making most of the decisions. You got a bunch of Nazis hanging out around him. So
that's what it feels like. Well, all right. Well, Spider-Man, we'll see what happens. I'm glad you put that one on the record. Because this will be up in a few months. This will stay up. I'm not playing music. I'm not doing anything that's going to get this thing taken down, and we can look back at it, collectively, and see.
I mean, you have people in here saying that they're all disingenuous. I would agree with that. Somebody says Trump for prison 2024. They're not going to put him in prison under any circumstances.
No, that's not going to happen.
Don't hold your breath.
That's not going to happen. Well, see, I don't know. I mean, I guess the other issue, I appreciate the conversation. FU too. He's very foundational Black American. He just wants these mainstream politicians to do something for us, and none of them make promises for us every time. But they expect us to vote for them.
I would totally tend to agree. That's why I'm not suggesting who somebody should vote for in one instance or another. Or I mean, this country has not proven to us that they deserve to take our votes for granted. The evidence suggests that under all groups, everybody is more or less split down the line except for us. So even in this late day, what Malcolm X had to say about white people being split down the middle, and if black people got organized, they could aim where the political needle was going.
Mhm.
That still rings true today because we're the only consistent voting bloc on paper. I'm not saying how people feel right now or what they're going to do tomorrow. I'm just saying that the evidence suggests that everybody else tries to buy up the votes of certain other non-white groups, and they vote down the middle just like white people do.
Yeah, that's the thing that bugged me when Kamala first ran.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what did she raise? Like $500 million in one day?
Yeah, see that kind of stuff is that's what makes me criticize the whole system that we're part of. I mean, you can't change it by tomorrow. But yeah, what is it? You said $400 million or something like that. The first 24 or first week
first
of
day, and there were some. I'm not going to name names, but there were some like telethons on YouTube that some black content creators were creating and building traffic and getting donations for Kamala. And I'm like, hold that money until you can have a meeting. Like, what are you going to do with this money to help you win? If we help you win, let's say it that way. If we help you win, what do we get out of the deal? I mean, is reparations on the table? Is better what education on the table? What are the issues that concern Black Americans, and how is Kamala going to address them? And that's something that I don't know if I heard any answers to. I saw her at the barbershop. I heard she was cooking greens.
Yeah, all that showcasing does what for who? In either event, her washing greens in a bathtub and 10 black people on a Zoom call on TV saying that 40,000 black people gave this money.
She bought a Roy Ayers album, but
that's so do a lot of white people. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, this is what she did for us, right? But
okay, so if you want to criticize Kamala Harris based on something that's relevant to the entire thing, you could point out that when Steve Mnuchin was ripping people off in California during the mortgage crisis and they had him dead to rights, she didn't prosecute him. Then he was in turn made Department of the Treasury by Donald Trump. So her not acting in the interests of people when it mattered, like on wax. Fuck. I mean, if you're against Democrat, or if you're against Republicans, or you don't like a certain aspect of the system, they took a guy that ripped a bunch of people out in the mortgage crisis and made him the Secretary of the Department of the Treasury. So
good notes. So I don't know. I mean, it's so up in the air. I know a lot of people are very anxious, and that's why I wanted to jump on tonight, just to let people share their feelings and ventilate a little bit, because I mean, like half the country is we're on the if Charles Woods were here, he would say that we're so divided. We haven't been this divided since the Civil War. And I know that there are even people that are in big families and they have major conflicts and clashes about what's going to happen tomorrow and who they're going to vote for and why. So it's not necessarily, I like that one. It's not necessarily about who wins. And like you said, the system supports, I mean, it's not like it's going to boil down to the figurehead anyway, but I do think it's important to realize that if Trump gets in, he's going to have the opportunity to pick at least 2 more Supreme Court justices.
Okay.
Because you have Clarence Thomas. He's going to get.
I mean, he appointed more judges in general than prior presidents in recent history, which is a big deal as well. We always focus on the Supreme Court,
Right.
but the court that affects people on the daily, he loaded it up faster than most. And I understand that they gave the previous administration as much trouble as possible on that, but he still outdid his
Hmm.
predecessor. You know. So let
Right.
me ask you,
Sure.
what do you think, especially given kind of what you do? What do you think about when it comes to us always having the entertainers be our voice or having speaking on our behalf? I'm not saying other groups don't, but
Oh, until
it's kept to a
restricted
minimum. You
path
know what I
for
mean?
black people
Mm-hmm.
being having black people athletes and entertainers.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's
It's like
America.
all the
It's
professors and
America. It's
all the
America.
professors and all the other stuff that they'll put on CNBC are all of a
Well,
sudden
all
just
the
nowhere
intelligent
to be
people.
found when it comes to this shit.
Well, if you're being swayed by what Mel Gibson says or
But that's what I'm saying. No,
What
nope.
Harrison Ford has to say,
But that's
I,
kept to a minimum. They'll say it maybe once, but you got for black people, it'll be all entertainers, and it'll be entertainers shaming you or telling you that
okay, so all right, good question. All right, so Baba Dick, he would dismiss all of it, right? He
hmm
says, athletes and entertainers have no say,
hmm
and they should not be respected, and that for that
And he was
reason.
an actual politician too, technically. So
Yeah, he did. He ran for
yeah,
president. Oh, by the way, he's at the beginning of Save the Children, which is on Netflix. And Quincy Jones is in Netflix too. Um,
rest in
with
peace to
Nancy
both of them.
Wilson, great performance. Rest in peace to both, but rest in peace. You know, you got me live, Quincy Jones. But my feeling, is we also did a movie called Savages, Servants, and Specialty Acts, which you can get if you are a Patreon subscriber. We send you the link to view that. And unfortunately, you know, we're as Black people, Black Americans, we're given very little space to operate where we can be quote unquote successful. You
hmm
know, now
hmm
I mean, I think that there's more to a Black job if you
hmm
want to go back there
hmm
than bouncing a basketball or singing and rapping and stuff and dancing. But that's the space that white America feels comfortable for us to be in.
hmm
They get really uncomfortable when we start having intelligent conversations or standing up for ourselves,
So that
right?
should to that point right there. What does that tell you about? I guess the that like where we
Well,
find ourselves right now, as far as like making people
well,
comfortable. Like as
yeah,
far as like I'm not trying to take an accusatory tone, but at least on the internet you'll see a lot of black mega people, right? Is
yeah.
that about making people comfortable?
Um, when I see a black, I don't divide people. That's a loaded question for me, Spider Man,
Okay.
because,
Okay. Okay.
but I'll address it because I think it's important to get this stuff down. When I see the two types of black magas, right? The gung ho, I'm gonna wear the hat, I'm gonna say everything, and that and we have a few Dr. Turners here. I don't know how vocal
So I don't mean to
he
I don't
is.
want to frame it as a pejorative, but I just want to say, like, I understand there's conservative people of all, you know,
Yeah, I mean, there's some that are just
levels
clownish with
and
it.
races.
Like I remember with Diamond and Silk, rest in peace, whichever one passed away.
Right.
I mean, to me, that was buffoonery and trying to get attention, being different.
Right.
But
And there's a
I
monetary
do
incentive involved.
understand.
Right.
Yeah, there's well, I mean, whatever floats your boat. But I think to me, I mean, yeah, when you ignore all the real issues and all that other stuff,
Mhm.
um, it troubles me to see people that don't see through a charlatan. And I've said that before. I'm allergic to bullshit. So that's probably why I'm not a big Trump fan,
Right.
and I don't buy into the propaganda the Democratic Party puts out, in the sense that they say, oh, the whole world's going to end if this guy is let in.
Right.
But I do feel that it's problematic that he's able to spout all this racist stuff. And here's somebody gaslighting. That's gaslighting, Damon. Who's the KKK? I just see through it, and it bothers me that he's so popular. But at the same time, he's been on the public stage for the last 40 years, 50 years. He's a brand name in and of himself. And we tend to do popularity contests when it comes to voting. So I understand why a lot of people like the guy, but I just think he's better off on a game show, on Twitter, not running the country.
So you say in your opinion, he's more entertaining, or he's better to you as an entertainer than a.
Just keep him. I don't even say the button. Like I don't. But he's aligning himself with Putin,
Right.
and he's aligning himself with South.
Well, here at home,
North
he
Korea.
aligns himself with the Klan and the Nazis. So I mean.
Oh yeah, there was wrong on both sides and all that other stuff. Yeah, so I have to ignore some of this concept comments that say he's not racist. I mean, the whole Central Park 5 thing alone, is enough for me to say this guy really does not like black people.
I mean, he just did the Haitian thing.
He'll tolerate them.
The Haitian thing was not about immigrants. The Haitian thing is about scaring white people and remembering rooms.
Yeah, well, the whole thing. I mean, both sides play against the fear, right?
Yeah.
So Kamala is saying, well, the world's going to end if Trump gets in. And Trump is basically saying the world as you know it, white man, is going to be over if you allow this much change to happen. So I'm not a fearful person in general. I think America's strong. We can deal with it. I would like to see the right decision be made to try and keep both oars in the water and move us forward as the empire declines. But at the same time, part of me wishes. I hate for black people to be the conscience of everything. I'm in the middle of listening to Ta-Nehisi Coates' book, The Message, right? And it's like, why do black people always have to be the conscience for white people? Like it seems to me like if we weren't around, this whole place would have been destroyed long ago. If that makes sense.
Do you think that has something to do with justification on a international or a transnational scale? At least earlier on.
I think it boils down to when they stole us and took away everything, our memories and our past and our sense of who we are. All they left us with was this belief in the higher power, the God. We're very, very spiritual people, and the people that care about money seem to be less so. So that's why we sing. That's why we dance. If that makes sense.
Right.
If that makes sense, because that's where they're comfortable seeing us. That's where we gain our power. And a lot of people, I see Jesus Christ as Lord. A lot of people that are foundational black, they're rediscovering their previous spiritualities, and they're finding even deeper cores within themselves. But why is it up to us to try and warn people? Why is it up to us to try and save things? And that's another role that
so they can blame you for what they're going to blame you for later.
It's like it's like we're the day before, right? And it's one of those, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. So when it happens,
So
whose fault is it going to be, right?
they want us to be, if we're speaking the film language, they want us to be their magical Negro on the side,
Exactly. And if
advising
we
them.
dodge a bullet, who's, if we dodge a bullet, it's still going to be the same rhetoric. I mean, Kamala, if she wins, or when she wins, I'm going to put it that way. Just to be positive.
Bold call.
It's gonna be worse than, it's gonna be so bad for her that it's almost like I wish she didn't get the job. I wish she could just go home and write a book and call it, I hate to say I told you so, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
would you say
my cat doesn't care? She just wants food tomorrow,
I guess
I'm
I
sorry,
lost my train of thought. I lost my train
go
of
ahead.
thought.
I'll throw some more of this stuff up. Yeah, I mean, I don't, part of me wishes the whole thing would just fall apart.
And then what?
Leave it to the ants.
What about the elderly and the babies?
How many times of bat do we get? How many times do we get to try and fix this thing? And it's a good ideal, this democratic system, but it's so corrupted. I mean, and I think that's why people wanted Trump in the first place, right? I mean, we have some people that wanted to see the swamp drained and all that other stuff. I think people had lost so much faith because the world is in trouble and people are suffering, and a lot of things have failed. A lot of the rich people that we've given power to, have entrusted to have power, have failed us. They've gotten greedy, right? They're not looking out for the people. So I understand why people would be so frustrated, as I say, they want a major change. But you don't hire the charlatan,
No, yeah. The grifter, or as they call them. So
that's what I feel. But I mean, let me just, because I can get on a soapbox very easily, and I'll just put that back up for people if they want to speak the same way you do. But I mean, we're not here to debate. I mean, the debates, we saw the first debate. if it stayed that way, and people say that Kamala was selected, not elected, if Trump would have waltzed into office if Biden had stayed in the race. So, it's always going to be contested. Not everybody's going to be happy. But why do we have to save everything?
I think white women are going to give it to Trump. That's what I think the reality of the political situation. It happens the last two times, and I mean, in the situation that we're in, do you think that white people are going to overwhelmingly vote for a black woman this time
around? Absolutely not. No.
There you go.
Absolutely not. I mean, I mean, that was when she was first picked. I said, I think this is a litmus test for America. If they weren't ready for Hillary, I don't think they're going to be ready for Kamala. But then when Kamala started speaking and she did the debate, I think energy swayed her way.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's got a bigger.
What is energy in this modern circus we got for politics?
Well, that's what I was going to get at. That's what I was going to get at. The Trump barely spends any money, and he's still neck and neck. Kamala's spending billions and billions of dollars to try and get people's attention, and she could still lose. So marketing.
Let's play bad math. Let's play bad math, okay? Bad math says 60% of the country is white. Okay? So if you cut that half and half, Trump's always got at least 30% approval rating. That would suggest that at least every white man in America votes for Trump or supports Trump. All right? This is called bad math. This is overgeneralization.
If you're spitballing it and you make that assumption, if you work with that assumption, that's what puts him in the lead at all times. And this fear that's stoked by Fox News, this fear that's stoked by talk radio, you know, that somehow there's some erasure that's happening. And
Hmm.
I'm definitely understand that there are problems with immigration. I definitely understand that there's an imbalance in terms of wealth, you know, but
Yeah,
I don't put
it's
it
just
all
not
on
an
black.
easy. It's not necessarily an easy choice because this is not a. It's not a clear. You know, if you're looking at all the politics, it's not clear that things are necessarily better under the current administration this time around. You know, this.
Well, I think Trump would have stayed in if not for COVID.
And
He,
that's an unfortunate thing, and that shouldn't have been the thing to be the decision maker after his last presidency. But
well, it
that's,
just showed he wasn't up for it. He couldn't handle a crisis.
he fired he fired the pandemic team like right when he got there, you know, because it was an Obama thing.
That's a fact.
So that's what I'm saying. Cut your nose off to spite your face. Are we gonna you know, I don't know.
But
I don't know what's gonna
but he would
happen.
never admit that he makes any mistakes. He never.
Who cares what stupid people think or don't think? I don't care
Well,
what he says he does or is going to admit. We got to look at what's already been done. I mean, it's not a perfect or easy thing to see here. You know what I mean? Under this last administration, but the current Supreme Court, they outlawed poverty, and you can get, you know
right.
what I mean? You
Well,
can't go sleep on the bench if you're having hard times.
this I think if you watch liberal news, it's an echo chamber. Whatever social media platform you're on, it's an echo chamber. Even if you're watching this, which is I guess you could say it's as bipartisan as you're going to find on YouTube. You know, because I'm not touting either. I mean, I know what I believe. I know what I know what this whole system is about. It's about stoking fear and promoting ignorance.
And it would be prudent to try to like watch as many or look at as many news sources as possible, so you don't get caught up being over propagandized by so-called conservative, so-called liberal news
Yeah. Well,
in
at
the
a certain
first
point,
place.
you just have to turn it off and think for yourself. But if your belief system has been poisoned because of this these biases that you have, you know, then there's a problem. You know, I mean, my whole standpoint is, you know, I think that I do look at both sides. Actually, I'm gonna say, Melissa, I do look at both sides. I think it was Melissa said this. Um, I do look at both sides, and I think that
I believe everybody has a bias. I don't think any human
yeah, I'm
lives.
programmed. I mean, look,
Yeah, yeah.
I know that my mind has been
I don't think
distorted.
anybody's immune to a bias.
Yeah, you know, and I think democracy is great, but I think the biggest problem is we probably deserve better candidates. You talk about sports
Yeah,
figures and all this stuff. How did this entertainer, this real estate
right.
guy turned game show host, become the candidate for the Republican Party and ultimately leader of the free world? I mean, that's crazy to me. And then you say Kamala Harris. I mean, she's super duper qualified. I mean, she's been in politics forever. She was selected to be vice president. I mean, she's capable and all that stuff.
I think that's where I
why is
think
she
that
falling behind in some cases?
I think when people say, because they did that before with Hillary Clinton with the saying she's the most qualified and super qualified. I think that's part of the estimation that they make. So when you say somebody's overqualified, I say you have a long resume, and in your long resume, you're showing a lot more of your faults, right? So
Mhm.
if the people are looking at everything you ever did or said, and they're not,
Right.
they'll definitely they'll be able to make an informed decision on that. If somebody new or unorthodox is coming in and he or she has the attention of the people, right? Then it becomes there's nothing to look back on. So when we had the situation with
Obama
Hillary Clinton
or
and
Hillary. Okay.
Donald Trump in the first place, the qualification argument, you could say, went in Hillary's favor, but so did the long resume, which works
Yeah,
against her. Now this
and
time
also
around,
her history
they can't
with her
say
husband.
that Kamala is more qualified to be the president than the last person who was the president, because he was the president. So he is more qualified based on the resume to be the president. So people can again look back at what he did and
Right.
tell themselves, is this what you want? And if that's what they like, then that's what you should vote for. But
Okay.
remember all the stuff that he did. Remember when he shut down the government. Remember when he got rid of people that were not loyal to him in the administration of the government. Not the politicians, the people that work for the government. And
Yeah.
that affects us directly
And
because
think about
one of
how many
the
people that he fired that
think of who
say
won in
that
the
he was unqualified for the job.
or after the 60s there was a lot of black people that were given public sector jobs, right?
Yes.
And so there's a tradition of black families having money coming in from a public sector type job, not necessarily business owners and CEOs out here, you know what I mean? So when he attacked that, he kind of attacked us indirectly, but
Yeah. Now, a Negro one. I think Spider-Man was being facetious when he was talking about his proven track record. But
Melissa, that might be the case on like an executive or like a cabinet thing, as far as like firing those who are opposed to your policies. But you don't want to go and like think of the DMV. That's doesn't matter who's cares if I'm the president or not the president, or you're the president, not the president. You just need the shit working so people can get their shit. The government needs to be administered so old people and babies can be taken care of at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, he never filled his cabinet at all. It was really very efficiently run. And then when the pandemic hit, all the cracks were visible at that point. And I think there was needless death, and he was asleep at the wheel. So if but again, are we, for those people that are saying, well, we'll vote, are we voting against Trump or are we voting for Kamala? I still say we're voting for Kamala. Despite what you think of his track record, we're unapologetic. It's in the StreamYard chat. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's a democracy. I know what will happen if Trump loses. He's going to say there was a fix, and he's going to get a lot of people hurt in the process of defending his loss. And I think if Kamala wins, she's not going to have a very easy 4 years.
So you brought up just a few minutes ago that it's kind of like the candidates themselves on either side are not necessarily the best that we could have got. Who, in the short, and just spitballing, who do you think would be better candidates for either side, or one side, or whatever side, or who would you like to see run for office, like in a realistic?
Donald Glover.
And why you say that?
No, I'm just joking. Okay. George Clooney.
Another celebrity, though. Is that the same?
No, I mean,
the same thing.
Well, I mean, both parties are in trouble because they don't really have strong figureheads or the next. They have not. I mean, they've not ceded power for decades, so everybody's too old and set in their ways, and they're not serving.
They're dying in office these days.
Yeah, and it hurt the Democrats. Ruth Bader Ginsburg should have quit and opened up that slot instead of just dying and leaving it open for a Republican to choose who would take her slot. I think they're all very greedy and power hungry, and they don't want to. When you have that power, even Biden, you see how hard it was for him to let go. I mean, they had to cut him off. Say, hey, take the car keys away. You can't drive anymore, Pop. So, and that might be part of the human condition. So what's the next crop of leaders? I don't think it comes from business, but the way things work, I don't think it comes from. There's no more Mr. Smith Goes to Washington's. Where you can have people who are genuinely concerned about. I see Unapologetic one. We'll bring you on in a second. I don't have an answer for you, Spider-Man, but I know this whole thing is weighted too much to wealth and power,
Mm,
and it's unfortunate that
I
both
would
people
tend to
are
agree.
working on both sides. Democrats may say they're working for the people, but ultimately you're working for your constituency, and
Which is
that
mainly
big
donors because they give
money.
you the biggest material support.
It's the banks. I mean, even when Obama won, I remember,
Mm-hmm.
the whole economy had flattened,
Mm-hmm.
and the first people he brought in were people from Wall Street, the same people that messed it up. He's giving
Timothy
jobs
Geithner.
to try to
Yeah.
solve the problem, and all
Yeah.
they did was fatten their pockets. They didn't do anything to
Didn't
redistribute any of
prosecute.
that
He
money.
also didn't use the Department of Justice to go after and prosecute all those bankers that gambled with people's life savings and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
hold
so
on, guys.
I don't know what the answer is. I'm just allergic to bullshit. I'm gonna bring unapologetic one on real fast to join us both, and then I'm gonna let you go, Spider Man. You were really great. Hang on. Hey, unapologetic one too.
How you doing?
Doing good. You want to be a
Hey,
part of this conversation? Thank you.
hey, what's going on, Mike? How you doing, Spider-Man too? Hey, I'm not going to be very long.
Yeah.
Just want to go ahead and just chime in. So I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I view myself as an independent. I
Hmm.
pretty much always view myself as that. I do have some political science background. Definitely went to school for political science, studied business afterwards. Um, my question to Black people when we're talking about the best choice, right? Can somebody now, I understand that they've thrown us a couple bones here and there. Um, but when we talk about support for people that, I guess are not in this country, that are outside the country, folks that are not citizens of this country, right? As Black people, what plans, because I know that I've heard that, you can't say just plans for Black people, but before that was said, there were plans put in place specifically for other people. But when it comes to these two candidates, what plans do they have for us? Because I
Yeah.
understand
So
that we've kind of been ignored for a while, and now that they need us, they kind of want us to like
Hmm.
just throw our vote to
Just
them
show up and
and
show up,
not
right?
really give us. Because
Yeah.
I work on a couple projects. I'm not going to say where, but
mhm,
I see the stats. I see the numbers. I see where all the money. There's millions of dollars, 20 million here, 40 million there. So you know what I'm saying? There's money just being thrown, and a lot of these communities are like a 5 minute walk from communities that are like 90% black.
mhm.
Hmm.
So it's like this has been going on for the last 4 years. It's been going on when Barack Obama was in office for both terms. So what are they going to do to help? And when you look at it, we've worked so hard. We've come so far. We've been the group that's helped this country get to where it's at, but
Mhm.
we're being overlooked. We've been overlooked and we're being overlooked. So, just in your own opinions, what are they doing to systematically improve our condition? That's all. What have
Okay.
they said?
Well, I mean, every election cycle is the same, in my opinion. Like they basically assume
Hmm.
Democrats assume that they have the black vote. And what's exciting and interesting about the last two election cycles for president, that's been questioned. Like, a lot of people are tired of that. I don't think that what a racist like Donald Trump has on the table for us is any better, I should say, than what Kamala Harris is going to offer in the next 4 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, also, so
I mean, that whole black
how do I
jobs
say
thing
it?
should have gotten everybody on board with Kamala. I mean, what's a black job? I mean, he just assumes. I mean, if that's not a racist statement, I don't know what is. That somehow immigrants are taking black jobs away from black people, and that's why they need to vote for Trump. You know, I mean, what does that mean exactly? It didn't make sense to me. It was very offensive.
So, so, and I got no dog in this fight. I'm an independent, so I just try and be, I think what he's saying is that like African Americans, Black people, us, like, not all of us, but there's a large section of our population that works in certain like front facing service jobs. And I'm not defending this man in any way, shape, or
Well, that's the
form.
perception, but
My
then the
main,
perception
uh,
that the Republican Party puts on welfare and criminals is that it's all black people. Now, there's certainly a huge problem with mass incarceration of people of
JD
color.
Vance made a whole. They made a whole movie about how JD Vance and them was living off of welfare.
Exactly, or hillbilly elegy or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So,
mhm.
so I think the perception, the fact that I mean, it goes back to what you're originally saying. I think, and this is a conversation, so correct me or feel free to disagree. But just mathematically, if we do the math, there's more white people than there are black people in this country. So therefore, they're going to be benefiting from these socialist systems way more than black people do. But somehow we get the stigma.
I understand. There are a lot of white people that are in trailer parks and everything across the country as well. I understand that as well. Um, One thing that I wanted to go and bring up, and I know that I'm being bombarded by a lot of texts that are saying vote, vote, vote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, yeah.
No one's really saying organize the vote. Also, at the same time, African Americans, because my family, my mother's from here, my father's from the islands, is essentially. But when we talk about African Americans, right?
No reparations for
We
you. Unapologetic
we
one.
well, I mean, basically, my family, they're from half of them are from the you know, live here in the U.S. The other half is in the islands and everything else. Um, we essentially have had our waterways taken away from us. We have over 12 million acres of land that has been taken, stolen from us. Nobody's talking about that. We have, it's just all these things that we like have had taken from us, and like we have cities, legit cities that we've worked that our grandparents like actually work to go and build that are underwater right now. You know what I mean? Like, and it's no one's talking about that at all, and they're still saying like, "Hey, come on." That's like in like the past. We're not really going to do anything for you. We're not going to really give you anything for that. I know that your people work for hundreds of years for free under brutal conditions, but hey, just get over it. Like, we're not going to give you anything for it. It's not fair. Just come on out and vote, and whatever that you get is going to be for the entire country. Come on,
Yeah,
Yeah.
come
I would
on.
tend to agree that everything what you just said right there, and I think that black people organizing around reparations in this country is a great place for us to start and kind of take away the presumed vote, like you were saying earlier, Mike, and then the the United States owes you reparations, but so do other countries and so do companies like banks and
That's
colleges.
right.
So
That's
we
right.
should go after all of them you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's,
no,
it's
I'm as I begin to understand it more, I'm more that that's a solid platform,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's and
it's just.
on a spiritual level, I think that that's the original sin of America. The fact that we're all living on stolen land. We're stolen property.
That's right.
Most of us. I know there's a lot of people going to object to that statement. Right. Most of us are stolen property, but we all live on this stolen land. And until that's right, I think we're always going to have problems. We're always going to have problems. But, you know, we got a couple chats, but I appreciate it. Unapologetic one, good points. We'll see what happens. Do you think the world is really going to change dramatically or drastically, regardless of who wins? This is a big election.
You're asking me?
Yes, sir.
Well, I feel like it's going to change. I think that certain things are going to go ahead and change, but unfortunately, I think that a lot of the issues that affect us that I've seen because I work in certain spaces where I walk 5 minutes and I'm in a really pristine area, and then I walk 5 minutes the other way, and I'm on the block, and I'm seeing nickel and dime bags on the. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that for us, not so much. I think that we'll get some benefits through like osmosis of what's going on. Because I mean, I've heard Kamala say we're going to go ahead and do these things for all Americans. So it'll be some benefit, but like to the point that you just now said, the majority of America is still, white, and a lot of these benefits and set asides are going to go to people that are either white or other minorities. So
yeah. So I mean, thank you. All right. I'm
most
gonna let you
definitely,
both
brother.
go. Sorry.
The rising boat lifts all. Rising tide lifts all boats argument. Is that what you're saying? Unapologetic.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. All right. Well, I'm good. I'm gonna let you both go. Thank you, unapologetic one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Spider Man.
Have a good one, man.
Peace. See you next time. So all right. So maybe I misspoke. I'm gonna apologize. Stolen property. That's how we were viewed. That's why I say. That's why I say property. Um, but I understand. I understand. Maybe I misspoke. I'll leave it at that. Um, let's see where we're at in the chat. I don't. I don't. I'm not putting that one up. Mad musician. I don't. I didn't read it. Let's see. No shame. Yeah. Well, I'm not here to argue with anybody, L, and I appreciate you. L Brown is in the house. Chris Dragnet is here, I believe, still. Our mod squad. I'll leave it one last. I'll give it 5 more minutes. We've been on for an hour and 13. And it's a new day here on the East Coast, so a lot of people are taking off. Molly is chilling. Oh, I got to shout out my friend David Walker. He's got a book out called Big Jim and the White Boy, and it's the graphic novel interpretation of Huckleberry Finn as told from Jim's perspective. And I think it's the guy who, I forget the person's name, but there's another book out called Jay, which has a similar premise. But this is the graphic novel version. You definitely want to peep that when you get a chance. David Walker's the author. Am I coming on tomorrow? I'm good. I don't want to flood the wavelengths. If Charles was here, we'd watch the election together, but I'm not sure if I want to jump on and watch these results. I mean, do you think we need to, or? I mean, I don't mind. I'm going to watch it anyway. I mean, I could watch it with you guys. I think I have a way to even stream it. Let me think. You don't want to answer Real questions, Mike. What was the question? Did I miss it? Taxing. I didn't see the questions. That's all. Taxing unrealized gains. I'm not sure what you mean, Warrior for Justice. Do you want to jump on? I'll have a conversation with you, but um, Warrior for Justice. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't see the questions. Ask what the country will look like under Trump. Well, we already saw it. We already saw it. You're gonna watch Joker movie tomorrow night. See, I don't necessarily want to flood the airwaves, but maybe I mean, we got 85 people here tonight. It might be worth doing some election coverage or Project 25. Yeah, Project 2025. Look, I mean, if he warned you and he said, "This is what I'm gonna do," I understand, Warrior. That's cool. Um, the Project 2025 and all that stuff. I don't know what to say. If he's warning you and it's being the think tanks that he's organized with, the people giving money, that's what the plan is, and people are in denial of it. Again, if it happens or when it happens, you hate to say "I told you so." So, thank you, Tom. Um, we got shout outs tonight. Long Beach, Australia. Let's do a roll call and then we'll shut it down. So, where are people watching from? Yeah, they took everything from Giuliani, right? I'm in Philly. Who else is in the building? We got 82 people here. Pasadena. Okay, Asian Latina. Hey, you're just getting in. We're about to go. We had a spirited conversation. Shout out to everybody who joined us. Rest in peace, Quincy Jones. ATL. I just came from Atlanta. I had some good Caribbean food, Golden Crust. Um, and we'll be back in June in Atlanta. So keep an eye. Um, I'm actually out of the state now, so I'm not swinging. Pause. Um, I'm planning. Well, I don't want to share my vote, but typically on this election, I'll probably pull a straight ticket because that's probably what I'm gonna do. But I will do my due diligence and not throw votes away. But not to tell you what to do. Um, Bronx. Oh boy. Well, why were we listening to FU2? New York is gone one way. You can say everything. You talked so much, FU2, and your vote is outvoted. we're just clowning you, FU2, because you said you were from the Bronx. And shout out to the Yankees. They just almost got fully swept, but it's all love. We love you. Um, what was the name of the book? It's right here. It's called Big Jim and the White Boy. We can see it. It's cool, Asian Latina. We're just doing shout outs and shutting it down. Undisclosed location, that's fair. Um MDV. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Mets. Rip Quincy Jones. Okay. All right. We're starting to fight here. Red wine tomorrow. If I can get Charles, maybe we'll come on live. I don't need to sit here and watch. I'll put it this way. Doesn't matter what happens, somebody's going to think the world is crumbling tomorrow. I don't know if our conversation would help or heal. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for your time. We had a good room tonight. With 83 people right now. I think we peaked around 95. So we're still like a little, kind of like a secret, a little bit still. Maybe we can get people to come in. Hey, Uncle Dre, we're about to go. All right. So the whole world is watching. It's Trump and Kamala, Agent Orange and Kamala. Not telling you who to vote for, but please exercise your civil duty. Make your voice heard. Even if you live in the Bronx, make your voice heard. And hit the like on the way out. All right. So we'll, depending on how I feel, we might come on. Depending on how I feel, But rest in peace, Quincy Jones. Please check out the content on both channels. Let me check the phone, see if anybody made a donation. Ooh, it's hot. Well, if he donated, I don't see it on Cash App. Let me just, yeah. Well, save your money. You might need it. All right. Thanks for your time. Yeah, this was an interesting hang. All right, people are starting to step away. Numbers are going down. Molly's waking up. That's a good way to end. Thank you, Mod Squad. Thank you, chat, for making this an event. The world, whether the world is going to be different tomorrow, I think it will be. I'm positive that things are going to go in the right direction. Sometimes things have to go, and I can say this bipartisanly. Sometimes you have to bring things down in order to take things back up. And we may be at that point in our history where things have got to get worse before they get better. So tighten your belts, like the video. Peace and blessing. Oh, God. All right. Look, for your sake, all right, now you're making it personal. I don't like that. But it's all good. I mean, the Phillies put up good. We still got the Eagles, although the Eagles are looking okay, just average. No one's better than the Chiefs, in my opinion, right now. And I like the Chiefs because, we got the Walrus there coaching. So we'll survive. All right. That's all I got. Have a good night. Stay blessed. I'm glad you agree. All right. Have a good night. Peace. Thank you. Love you.